All right. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. My mic was mute, so can you hear me now? I'm really sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear my mic? Can you hear my mic? No sound? No sound? Can you hear sound? Yes. Sound. Thank you, Favor. I've sorted out my sound. Can you hear me now? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're getting yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. Yes, Zola. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. You can hear me. Great, great, great. Thank you so much. As you can hear me, again, my name is Solomon Izangi Shams, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to Solomon's Temple tonight, where we're going to continue to shed the spotlight on the life, the activities, the sinful nature, and the damage that Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, as he calls himself, he's a self-proclaimed prophet. And tonight we are putting a different spotlight, and that is we are looking at Bushiri's baby mamas. Bushiri's baby mamas. There's quite a lot of them, and I'm going to be zooming in on a few of them tonight. Some of them I have met, so I'm going to be zooming in on that. So thank you so much. Wherever you are, I always want us to know the location that we are, just so we can celebrate the different locations that we are. So wherever you are, give us a shout out. You know, say hi from the USA. Say hi from Sakile. Says, Nisi, forget about Bushiri. I saw you on the news, and you sure that you are from Nigeria? I mean, your accent, man, it's like you from USA. No, Sakile, you should. Have you been to the USA? You should travel to the USA, and you're gonna find that and see their accent. My accent is nothing like Americans. If you say British, that's a little bit more like it, because I stayed in London and also in Scotland, where I studied. So let's get a shout out from everybody. We got James from Botswana. We got Pasi from Belgium. Todliso from Bloemfontein. Bana from Zambia. Alex from NYC. That's New York City. Kweswa is also here. Peter Max from Accra. Teboho from Botswana. Naomi again, all the way from Germany. Bontley from South Africa here. All the way from Melbourne, Australia. TK, hello to you also. Sarah from the UAE. Lydia from Toronto. And Naomi from Germany, obviously. Emma from Namibia. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Zola from the Eastern Cape, that's in South Africa. Agbola from Nigeria, yes, from my country. George from Soweto, Deep Kloof. Anna from Germany. Emma from Namibia. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Tonight, what I'm going to reveal are based on intense investigation, not just a short investigation, but a long investigation. So I'm going to reveal certain details and also evidences in my position. That I would actually try to establish that for a lot of us, you know, we expect certain standards and certain values from men of God. But I'm sorry, that's not the case for a lot of men of God, so-called men of God. You know, somebody asked me the question today, do you think Bushiri started as a false prophet? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he started as a good guy, really wanted to serve the Lord. I've met him before, so I had this conversation with him. But later on, things turned the other way. And it's not really how you start. It doesn't really matter how you start. You know, the most important thing is to maintain the tempo, the consistency in your relationship with God. And also, like Paul says, you know, you fight the fight and you finish the race. That's what is very important. So I think a lot of fake pastors and false prophets, they started on a good note. They really, from their hearts, they really wanted to serve God. From their hearts, they really, some of them were genuinely called, by God. But, it doesn't really matter. God called you or God gifted you. If you decide to not have the fear of God and live in disobedience and live in sin, obviously, like Paul said in the Bible, people like that, you should actually have nothing to do with them. And there are a lot of pastors today, who are leading churches, big churches, who are preaching from the pulpit every time, powerfully, as people say, but they've totally fallen off God. No fear of God. They live in sin. They cheat on their wives. They abuse their wives. They're corrupt. They take money. They're prideful. They have so much pride, and that's just the way that it is. Just because you are a man of the cloth, or just because you have a calling and you have a big church, doesn't mean that you are really of God. So that's something that we really need to look at and to appreciate, because that is very important. I remember, like I said, I think I said it the other day, that was, people go around a lot looking for miracles, signs and wonders, word of knowledge, prophecies. But if you're looking for prophecy, or if you think a certain person can prophesy, or a certain person can create and do miracles, that means God is with them. I'm sorry, that's one of the last ways you should access. You should evaluate the presence of God in the community of people, in the church, in the life of a leader. Remember Moses when he went to Pharaoh in Exodus, when God sent him there to say, let my people go. Moses said, look, this is the instruction from God, Pharaoh, let my people go. I think it was Pharaoh Ramses, if I remember the name of that Pharaoh very well. And, he refused. So God told him, do this, just so Pharaoh would know that I'm with him, I'm with you, show some signs of wonder, put your rod on the ground and the floor, you turn to snake. So whatever, a lot of what Moses did, miracles that he did, Pharaoh said, no, that's fine. I would call on my wise men. I would call on my magicians, and they're going to be able to do the same thing. And lo and behold, they did about the same thing, So just because it's supernatural, just because it's something out of the natural, doesn't mean, it's really of God. So I just wanted us to look at that and to talk about that. But there's a scripture that I want to share tonight as we start. It said, marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. Hebrew 13:4. Marriage should be honored by all. Okay, let's take it bit by bit. Let's just try to chop it. I love chopping the scriptures. That way you can understand, what it's saying. So marriage should be honored by all. What does that mean? Marriage should be honored by all. It says all, it means all. Is it marriage should be honored just by the husband? It says all. Okay. Marriage should be honored by just the husbands and the wife. He said all. So sometimes when we look at a scripture like this and it says marriage should be honored by all, we said it has to be the husband and the wife. Yes, indeed, the husband and the wife is inclusive, So the husband and the wife should honor marriage. And when you say you honoring something, it's like you're putting it on, you're putting it at its place. You're respectfully doing whatever it takes to make sure that you do not abuse it, to make sure that you do not destroy it, to make sure that you do what is expected of it, you protect it. That's what honor means. To make sure that you give your all to make sure that it works. And that's what marriage is all about, between the husband and the wife. But here he says all. So he's actually not just saying the husband and the wife. I'm sure if that's the case, it would say the husband and the wife. But here he's saying all. So does that mean all? Does that mean even people that are outside of that marriage should honor the marriage? So even people that are families, even people that that a husband is familiar with, that the wife is familiar with, they should honor externally, they should honor this marriage. They should honor it. So you and I have a role when we see a marriage. Am I honoring every marriage that I see? Because I have a role. I'm called to honor that marriage. It doesn't have to be my marriage. Or are you trying to destroy others' marriage? When you're trying to destroy others' marriage, when you're trying to give a counsel to a husband or to a wife that is destructive to their marriage, then there's a problem. When you as a husband go out of your marriage to have a relationship with another woman, you are dishonoring your marriage. When you as a woman now receive a man who you know is a married man, and then you have a relationship, sexual relationship, then you're dishonoring the marriage. Because here, the Bible is also saying, the second part says, and the marriage bed kept pure. Now we would think, oh no, it's the role of the husband to keep the marriage bed pure. It's the role of the wife to keep the marriage bed pure. Yes, indeed. The two of them need to keep the marriage bed pure. But if there's an external person coming in, having full knowledge that these two people are married, so they are now also collaborators in not keeping the marriage bed pure. So dishonoring the marriage bed, dishonoring the marriage. And what would God do to them? The other part, it says, for God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. So the adulterer, if a husband go outside of his marriage, an adulterer with a woman, if a woman accepts a man who is married and then you have a relationship, sexual relationship with him, now you become the sexually immoral. So God will judge the adulterer who went outside his marriage to get some sexual satisfaction, to get some sexual healing. And he will also judge the sexually immoral. And that's what it's all about tonight. When I say Bushiri'S baby mamas, oh, they made babies. So Bushiri made babies with other women. So he's not just going to be the one who's guilty before God. They're not going to be the one who are guilty before God. All of them will be the ones who are guilty before God. And he's forgot to decide, what to do with them. If they're repentant, hallelujah, praise God. There's always grace, there's always mercy and forgiveness from God. But if they are not, what do you expect from God? So the baby mamas, we have quite a lot of young women watching or gonna watch this broadcast later on YouTube. Or people that are collaborators, that are in relationship with married men, in relationship with married women. There's a time, I think was it, somebody asked me about somebody like what I thought about having a sexual relationship with another woman. I said, me, you can put a gun in my head and you give me a choice. You bring a beautiful woman, say, Solomon, have sex with her and I will spare your life. Or decide not to have sex with her or I will blow your brains. I will gladly tell you to blow my brains because I know the implications of the adulterer, the sexually immoral. It's something that I would never, ever, ever do. It's a commitment, not by my strength, but by the grace of God. And if you don't decide these things before you face them, when you face them, it's going to be something totally different. Then you're going to compromise. So tonight, I'm going to be looking at, Bushiri'S baby mama. We know the Bushiri'S whole saga the last few weeks. Yesterday or so, I gave a recap. Was it 2 days ago? I gave a recap of him jump in bail and run into Malawi. So I don't want to go and start it all over again. I can only give you some sort of a update that actually tonight, Bushiri and his wife Mary are spending the night at the police station where they reported today after the police went out looking for them yesterday in Malawi, in Lulungwe. Went out looking for them. They couldn't find them, but this morning they reported they were not arrested. So let's get that different. They were not arrested. They were asked to come and give their statement based on a warrant of arrest that was issued by the Interpol from South Africa, and that's the international police. So Bushiri needs to come to the police and explain himself, give his statement. So today he went there, gave his statement. Maybe he wasn't finished, but he was now detained with his wife Mary. So they're in police custody right now. And then they would have to appear in court, I think, tomorrow. So obviously he's going to appear in court, and I think they're going to give him bail or whatever. Even if he spent another day, they're going to give him bail. Remember, he's a very powerful person in Malawi. He can move things around. You know, I believe that the president of Malawi is not in support of whatever Bushiri is doing. But remember, the deputy president, for me, I think would support Bushiri. Why? Because the deputy president was supported by Bushiri. His political party was supported by Bushiri before they got elected. And the current government in Malawi is a coalition government. So you have different political parties coming together. So it's not just one political party that won the majority and then no. It's different political parties coming together. Remember when they had the elections 1 month ago, the current president and the former president who lost, there was no clear winner. So they had to do what we call a runoff election, which is you go back and do it again. You know, so the little parties and the other parties now came together and they now supported the current president who won the election. So, and a lot of these guys, the other parties, they benefited from Bushiri quite a lot. Financially, they benefited from him, from his influence. They've also benefited from him. All right. So I don't want us, sometimes people would say, you know, I come here and if you were just here to just hear what I have to say about certain people, it's always more than that. You know, for me, what are the lessons from it? And I shared the scriptures from Hebrew 13:4 is because for us to look at it and say, what are the lessons? For everything that I share here, you know, I would love for us to look at the lessons. What are the lessons from it? What are the lessons? So that's very important. So now we all know that Bushiri, before I go on, please, I would want to ask you to subscribe. I haven't said that, so I just remember now. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel right away. Solomon's Temple. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that way you can support what I do and you can be able to share with other people. You can be able to access it. And that's why I do what I do, just so people can really get informed and benefit, and also they can benefit from it. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. If you're on YouTube, please do that. If you're on Facebook, please do that right now also. And also tag somebody, share with somebody that you feel that they should come over to watch this. There's a lot of Bushiri orphans, as I call them, Bushiri supporters that are going to be here to comment, that are going to be here to attack me and all that. I'm used to that. I'm very much used to that. My life has been threatened so many times. I'm used to that, you know. I have a very thick skin. You have to understand. When it comes to the truth, what I know is the truth. I hold on to it. I do not know any other way, you know. So that's just the way that it is. So if you see Bushiri's, you know, supporters here commenting or attacking me, please say hi to them and tell them that I love them. There's no hate here. We might disagree, but there's no hate here. So Bushiri himself, you know, has a record of a lot of allegations of him sleeping with girls, especially in his early days. 2016, 2017, when he not arrived, but started Enlightened Christian Gathering in Pretoria. He was resident at the Sheraton Hotel in Pretoria. So there's always been quite a lot of girls going there to the Sheraton Hotel. You will see lineup of girls every time you go there. And I've also spoken to girls that have actually been there. Some of them, he saw them in church and he saw that they are vulnerable. He invited them to pray for them and to come to after the service. You know, normally he sees a beautiful girl or he sees a girl that he likes. He would tell his guys to go tell her that, you know, she should come to, that the prophet wants to see her. You know, he wants to pray for her and all that kind of stuff. And obviously they will be excited, you know. And then they would tell them to come to the Sheraton Hotel, and they go there. And instead of praying for them, he would sexually abuse them. So I have some girls that are allegedly that's what happened to them. So that's been going on for quite a lot. And over the years, I've been receiving lots and lots of complaint from people. Women have been telling me what sort of experiences they've had in the hands of Bushiri. Other people have been telling me about Bushiri's girlfriends, you know, his baby mamas, his side chicks, that is people that are in the church, people that are even staff, you know, staffing there in the church. So you get quite a lot of that. And sometimes you want to gather more evidences first to be able to even say anything. Sometimes you want it to slide. I remember this girl who actually said that she went to Bushiri's church for the first time with her parents. And her parents are pastors and they really love Bushiri. So they went to visit and he saw her. And after service, one of the leaders came and told her, look, you know, Bushiri wants to see you, to pray for you and all that. So she was excited and she went to the Sheraton Hotel and lo and behold, he raped her. That's what she told me. And it's just a case of her just losing herself. She actually later on told her parents, but her parents didn't believe her. So she got to a place where she actually was in so much pain, she began to cut herself. So she was basically abusing herself. You know, I had to speak to her and I had to organize counseling for her also, for her to get some sort of counsel, which is very important when you find people in that kind of state. So I've received quite a lot of that. I've received, you know, tips and from different sources about that. But tonight, I just want you to understand that Bushiri himself, he from the look of things, he's not just a scammer and a con man, but he is somebody that actually, you know, left a lot of babies with women, with young girls, and it's sad because we have problems with family. If there's a problem in South Africa that is very prevalent, is the family unit. And you know, when God wants to bless a nation, it starts from family. Family is very important to everybody, you know. But getting girls pregnant and leaving now complicates everything. Now you have to have a child who's going to grow without really having that stability in families. Yet, yes, it does happen, but you know, it's something that as a church we should be the correctors and not the destroyers. But for Bushiri, it's just totally a different case. It seems like he was the you know, the destroyer. Now, I'm going to share with you just some info around some of his baby mamas. And this is based on my investigation. Some of these baby mamas, I am not even the first to actually mention them. They've been mentioned, they've been interviewed. Some of them have denied it. And some of them people don't even know that they have a baby for Bushiri. So I'm going to be sharing that with you tonight. Take this as allegations. That's definitely fine. Because whatever you believe, is just really up to you. But if you know who Bushiri is, who Shepherd is, then you definitely know that it's totally something different. Now, I want to introduce you, for some of you guys who don't know, I want to introduce you to this name, ALLEGRO DINKWANYANE. ALLEGRO DINKWANYANE. Now, ALLEGRO is a very young girl. She's about 29, 30 currently. She prides herself as somebody who runs a PR marketing business. It's called Ogela, I think. And she started, she went to University of Johannesburg, started, well, struggling like any other girl in the big city. But then all of a sudden, I think about 3-4 years ago, boom. And she used to go to Bushiri'S church, and she was dating one of Bushiri'S son called Praise. They call him Papa. So he has sons. So she was dating one of his son called Praise Siame, before she got involved, allegedly, with Bushiri. Now, let me do this. Now, this is ALLEGRO. Beautiful girl, young girl. As you can see, she looks very, very expensive with that kind of hair and that kind of clothes. She looks very expensive. So that's her. And that's her right here also. So she really prides herself. She's really, if you go to her Instagram page, go to her Facebook page, she takes pictures like this, So people like that, for me, people like that are always fake. People that just, they put this social media life out there, everyone to see. So she's been really living large. This is her closet, and these are her shoes in her home. Just to show you that she's really living large. So you can see the collection of those very expensive shoes like Chanel. There is just very expensive brands. Ladies, you should be able to know some of these things and to know some of these brands. So, I mean, when you have a collections of shoes like this and all that, all of a sudden, within a period of a year or two, she just suddenly transformed and, what do you call it? And sort of like project herself as this entrepreneur and businesswoman. But then money was just coming in. And this was her when she was pregnant. This was her when she was pregnant. ALLEGRO when she was pregnant. So when ALLEGRO was pregnant, obviously, as you can see, there were a lot of sources that were telling me she was pregnant for Bushiri. Even when she gave birth, I actually sent her a message and said, look, I heard that you gave birth to Bushiri's baby, that Bushiri is the father of your baby. Could you confirm that? But she never replied me. So just so you know, I reached out to her to confirm it, but she never replied it. She's originally from Limpopo, went to University of Johannesburg. So all of a sudden, she just became this moneyed, out of nowhere, And I seriously think that if you really want to, even for the police, for the Hawks, if they really want to trace some of the Bushiri's loot, where he put it in, I would really suggest that they investigate this girl. Because for some reason, Bushiri uses girls to clean his money. So when you got money illegally or whatever, you want to clean the money. There's a way that, what do you call cleaning the money? you know, and they also help him to put the money in certain places and all that. So this girl, you know, for me, she's a target, you know, that the authorities should look at really investigating. Yeah, so she was pregnant and she gave birth to a baby. This is her and her baby. And this is the alleged son of Shepherd Bushiri. As you can see, she's also here with her baby. Obviously, from our photos, you're never going to see the face of the baby. I mean, even if the face of the baby is shown, I would not show you the face of the baby, just for the sake of protecting the identity of the baby. It's just a baby. They are not involved in this. I mean, if it was the media, you put the face of the baby. Obviously, some people would use the face of the baby, but for me, I just feel it's not okay right now. So that is Allegro. That's the first side chick, and like I said, she has packaged herself as this girl who is a businesswoman who runs an entertainment PR marketing business. And to be honest with you, that's the business that she had, right? That's the business that she does. But you see, it's not the business that's been bringing money into her life. He's the father of the baby, Shepherd Bushiri. You can go and investigate her accounts or whatever, and you can see that. So she managed to package herself very well and look very slicky, very corporate, businesswoman. She would say she started her business when she was 21 and all that kind of thing, you know. And she's appeared in some sort of like media online and all that kind of stuff. And here are some of the what do you call it? Some of the captions and titles from some of the media pieces that she's appeared in. And this is her saying, I have never submitted a CV in my life. ALLEGRO DINKWANYANE. So she's saying here she has never submitted a CV in her life. So obviously when somebody said that, they're trying to tell you that they're self-made. They're trying to tell you that, look, this is who they are. You know, and maybe she's never really submitted a CV in her life, you know. And then we have her here in another article as ALLEGRO DINKWANYANE, a media mogul on the rise. So a media mogul on the rise. Remember, she's a PR person, so she packaged herself very well. Now with the money that is coming from Bushiri, you know, financing her life and using her as a channel to take in money wherever and hiding money wherever, she could live a glamorous life, and you could get the impression that she's successful from her business, which is a media company. But that's not just the case, right? This is another one here. ALLEGRO DINKWANYANE, 30 years of age, entrepreneur, philanthropist, founder and chief executive. Our organization is called Ogila or Ogila Group. That's the name of her organization. So yeah, she's been really an aspiring businesswoman. She really wants to run this. And I knew her before she actually went into a relationship. I was actually, I think, friends with her on Facebook one time before she went into a relationship with Bushiri. And remember, before she went into a relationship with Bushiri, she was going to Bushiri's church, which is Enlightened Christian Church Gathering. And she was in a relationship with one of Bushiri's spiritual sons, as they say, called Praise Siame. And it was Praise Siame that took her away from, sorry, it was Bushiri that took her away from Praise Siame. And she now became his own side chick. And finally, this is her saying, you know, play your part, how entrepreneur ALLEGRO DINKWANYANE is changing the game. So you get all these kind of captions, and you know all these things are sort of like fixed, you know. I know the media very well. So I know there's a way that you can package yourself very well and just take yourself out there, and people would actually think that you're successful or you're really doing well with your media company. But the truth of the matter is, it can be deceitful. You can package it together and take it out there. So we have ALLEGRO there, 30 years of age. She's still very much around. You can check our Instagram page. She has some great photos there. You could see that everything is packaged. Oops, that's my dog. You could see that everything is packaged. So you package everything. It's like everything is well done. It's like artificial, because you want to create a certain perception that people will look at you in a certain way. So a lot of people will say, she's a successful businesswoman. Even I think Forbes magazine took her on at one point and did an article on her. But it's just a facade. Behind the scene is totally something different. Behind the scene is totally something different. And there are a lot of our sisters that are into that. A lot of our sisters that, are collaborators when it comes to adultery and sexual immorality. Just like I read from that scripture from Hebrews 13:4. No, guys, I'm not going to check on my dog. Come to my house. The dog is going to yank you. The dog is good. The dog is good. It's just good out here. So, yeah, even the dog doesn't agree with you, right, David? Yeah, he doesn't agree with all the Bushiri'S guys. He can actually see all the Bushiri'S guys on my timeline. So now we now move to the second person who I've actually gotten in touch with before, spoken to them. They threatened me. But this person, her name is called PHUMZILE MARIPANE. She's originally from Mpumalanga. She's 30 years of age right now. She used to work at the call center in the prophetic channel. And the prophetic channel is the channel for Shepherd Bushiri. So she was a call center person at the prophetic channel. And she was in a relationship. She was dating a guy called George. And George was also a staff at the prophetic channel. And he was a camera guy also. But then he discovered later on that she was in a relationship. She was in a relationship with Bushiri, and he became very disappointed, and he dumped her. And she continued her relationship with Bushiri. I had actually sent her a message myself before, and she threatened me, and all that kind of thing, trying to confirm. So she let me actually. So this is PHUMZILE. You could see the kind of life she's living. They call her Pumi. You could see the kind of life. So we're talking about like really slave queens, that Bushiri goes to. He has a certain taste for women. And like I said, she was a call center staff of the prophetic channel, and she was in a relationship with George, who's from prophetic channel, and he was a camera guy there. But then when he discovered she was having a relationship with the big man, they called Bushiri the big man there. They discovered she was having a relationship with the big man. He now cut off. You could see some of the photos, and you could see some of the way that, obviously, the way that some of these girls dresses and the kind of stuff they put online. And I actually, somebody was telling me, I'm not sure if it's true, I don't know, but they actually telling me that allegedly that she has a child for J. Israel or so. I don't know that, so I'm just saying that. And this is also her, you know. And a few years ago, or was it last year, she was actually asked if she has a relationship, if she's Bushiri's mistress. And this is what she has to say. She said, "He's just my spiritual father," says Bushiri's alleged mistress. So she's still refusing to accept that she doesn't have any sort of relationship with him. But there was a lady who was her friend called Innocentia, from what I have gathered, who allegedly went around telling, when she discovered that Mpumi has a baby for Bushiri, she actually went around, she was shocked and went and was telling people about it. So Mpumi and 3 of her friends became very angry because she was now telling people about it, about a secret that she and Bushiri has. And Mpumi and her friends actually beat Innocentia up. They beat her up, and they really damaged her, and she had to go on up on a case at the Sunnyside police station, and they arrested Mpumi and her friends. And I actually heard that allegedly it was Bushiri that actually organized his legal team, his lawyers, to bail Mpumi, because Mpumi was very angry that she went around telling people the secret, the alleged secret that they have, which is having a baby with Bushiri. And then she and her friends beat Innocentia up, which is not something to do. And I actually heard also that the surname of her baby is actually Huxley. If you know Huxley is like Bushiri's second name, so it's like Shepherd Huxley Chiporolo, is that what you call him? Bushiri. So Huxley is actually part of his name. So that's Mpumi from Pumalanga. Again, I tried to reach out to her, get explanation and all that kind of stuff, but never really did get anything from it. And I actually, let me see, I think I actually have a photo here. I hope it's gonna work. Meanwhile, whilst I'm doing this, again, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe to my, oh, sorry guys. Yeah, so I actually have a photo of the alleged baby that Bushiri and this Mpumi made together. This is the alleged photo of the baby that Mpumi and Bushiri allegedly have together. And the baby, I think it's about 3 or so. And the surname of the baby is Huxley, like I said, which is Bushiri's other name, basically. Some people say they know the photo. It's a carbon copy of Bushiri. Well, I'm not going to show you the face. If you've seen the photo before, fine. If you haven't seen the photo before, that's up to you. Yeah, Bushiri, yeah, I think Mpumi, yeah, she has 1 child. They're just saying that she was in a relationship with Jay Israel. Sorry, not having a baby with Jay Israel, in a relationship with Jay Israel. So I'm not trying to say they have a baby. All right, so I'm gonna take you to the next baby mama. And this is going to be the final baby mama. I hope you've subscribed to my YouTube channel. This is going to be the final, baby mama number 3. Maybe as time goes on, maybe in the next, maybe later on, I could take another 3 and go through it, or take another 3 and go through it. So this is the alleged, the third alleged baby mama. The third and alleged baby mama is, I'm just gonna call her Gugu from Swaziland, and that's actually her name. Her real name is Gugu, from Swaziland. I've actually totally forgotten her surname. But in this case, this Gugu from Swaziland, I actually met her, right? Show you her picture. This is Gugu from Swaziland originally. You can see the kind of woman that he goes for. So he spoils them. He gives them money to, all these weaves and whatever. And some women, that's, if you can give them that, they don't care whether you're married or not married, unfortunately, even in the church or outside the church. So this is Gugu from Swaziland. And I must be honest with you, I didn't know Gugu from anywhere. But about 2 years ago, she inboxed me on Facebook, crying and saying, Solomon, I need your help. I was told that you are the only person that can help me. Now, to tell you the truth, I get a lot of messages like that sometimes, right? And she said she wanted to speak to me. She can get my number. So I gave her my number and she called me. She said, look, Solomon, I'm in a very big dilemma right now, and I would want to tell you something about Bushiri. And I want to meet with you and tell you something about Bushiri. And that's the message. So when you hear people like that, people come to me a lot crying what they're going through, and you want to try to help them, but you also want to try to be careful. I don't want to go meet a girl and then I'm going to be set up. I'm going to be, implicated in something and all that kind of stuff. So even when I said, okay, I'm coming to meet you. So we set up a date and I went to Centurion then, actually. I still remember the place. And I even kept my phone, my phone was on and my camera was on live, just so my wife could actually, follow the whole proceeding, because I wasn't ready I didn't know her from anywhere. So when I met her, I think it was a 2-room small apartment in some estate in Centurion. And I said, she said, look, Solomon, she needs my help. I said, what do you need from me? So she now started telling me about her relationship with Bushiri'S brother. I'm trying to remember his name now. He lives in Zambia now. So he was here for some time and she was based in Nelspruit and he was in Nelspruit also. So he got her into a relationship with her and she got pregnant. And she got pregnant for Bushiri'S brother, from what she told me, and she had to abort the baby. So she aborted the baby. Sometimes she even goes to Zambia to visit him, and she would stay in Zambia for like a month, from what she told me, and she would come back. And she now got pregnant for him, and she aborted the baby. But in aborting the baby, she now had some sort of complications with her womb. And it was very painful. And it was also, she needed medical attention, but she doesn't have the money. And Bushiri'S brother, I'm trying to remember his name, she told me. Maybe one of you guys know the name. If you say the name, let me check the comments. If you say the name, I'm actually going to, not Tresford, Shama, not Shama. There's a name actually. If you say the name, I'm going to For those of you guys that have been following Bushiri Otis, not Otis, not Otis. If you say the name, I'm actually going to actually tell you if you were correct or not correct. So she said she had a not Meshach. She said she had some sort of complication. So she needed medical help, but the brother left her and he dumped her. You know, she's trying to get in touch with him, but he wasn't just really getting in touch. And so people around where she was in Nelspruit now advise her to move on to Pretoria and speak to his elder brother, his big brother, which is Shepherd. Maybe Shepherd could help her. Right? So she now came up to Pretoria, and then she managed to see Shepherd. And Shepherd now actually gladly helped her. Shepherd now gladly helped her. He listened to her, obviously. He listened to her, he advised her, and then he organized doctors, gynecologists to help her. And then she got some medical attention. After some time, she got better. And then she said, after she got better, now Bushiri, Shepherd, now started sleeping with her. You know, and to be honest with you, a lot of that happened, not just with Bushiri, but with people like Hubert Angel. Hubert Angel, he would have like spiritual sons like them, Zwake and all these guys. And this spiritual father, he would be targeting and sleeping with his spiritual sons, wives, and girlfriends. That's the way it works. Because these guys just need to have sex. You know, so it's not some sort of out of the blue that that this stuff like this you know, happens. But she started now having a relationship with Shepherd. So she would go to the Sheraton Hotel and they would have sex. He would give her money, and sometimes he would give her money to go and buy certain lingerie. And when she comes, based on what she told me, he would ask her to strip naked, to put, you know, and dance for him in her lingerie, the new one that he gave her money to buy, and all that kind of thing. And she got pregnant so many times for him, a couple of times, and she aborted the baby, you know. And then she got pregnant at one point, then she had a baby for him. And when I went to visit her that day at her home, the baby was right there. And this is the baby she told me she had with Bushiri. I even held the baby, played with the baby. The baby, I think, was about 6 months then. You know. So I asked her, why did you get in touch with me? You have a problem with Shepherd, Bushiri, and you were getting in touch with me. It doesn't make sense. You know that myself and Bushiri are not on the same page in any way. So I'm not even going to be able to help you, because I don't even want to listen to Bushiri if he's not ready to repent before God and before the people that he has sinned against and has defrauded. I'm not even ready to do that. You know, she was like, no, you know, she had this baby, and since she had this baby, he only took care of them for a couple of months. He was giving them, every month giving them, I think about 9,000. They pay the house rent, and then they can take care of themselves. But then he stopped doing that. So she actually came to me because he stopped supporting them. Some people will be asking, but why do you put her on blast today? I put her on blast today because she went back right there. After I helped her, she wasn't changing. She was going back and doing the same thing all over again. And I told her, I'm going to put you on blast. She was like, well, you can put me on blast. It's fine, and this and all that kind of stuff. But I helped her. Did I help her? Yes. she came to me and I understood, because I mean, there's a baby involved, and she's originally from Swaziland. So obviously, you know that there's a baby involved and she needed help with the baby and all that. And I took her case. I said, okay, what do I do now? She showed me proof of their communication between her and Bushiri. And this is an encrypt from one of her messages between her and Shepherd, where she was telling him he's not taking responsibility for his baby. Actually, that's her there saying, take your responsibility, maintain your daughter, and there must be an agreement. In other words, I need paperwork. So she wanted an agreement, paperwork, because sometimes he pays and maintains the baby and then he seizes. When he's angry with her or whatever, he seizes. And then he's not going to support. And the reply there in white, from what she gave me, that's his reply. He said, I do maintain my baby. And from what I know, next help is month end. So he's claiming that next month, that his month end is when he does that. But from what she told me, he will pay and then he will skip a lot of months. And with the money that Bushiri has, all he was paying them was peanuts. Compared to the kind of life he was living. He was giving them maybe like 9,000, 10,000 a month. You can't give that to your baby when you were splashing it all over social media that you bought a Rolls Royce or is it a Maybach for one of your daughters for her birthday. So indeed, I took a case I said, okay, I'm not going to be able to help you directly myself, but I will take you to the CRL Commission, and then we can arrange, and then you can share your story, and then they would have to get in touch with him. And obviously, I took her to the CRL Commission first. They got in touch with him and he tried to deny that he's his baby. And then later on, he started talking about the maintenance and whatever. But at the end of the day, she actually had to go back to Swaziland, and he had to get a house for her and buy a car for her. So I really did help her, you know what I'm saying? And also I set up like a trust fund, to put the baby's money in there to take care of her, just like his other kids. That's just the right thing to do, But at the end of the day, her attitude towards, look, you have to disengage, towards what you're doing is wrong, she didn't just get it, And I had to have a confrontation with her to tell her, look, you cannot just continue like that. After she got the baby, he came and he was still sleeping with her, and she had another abortion for him. She told me that herself. She terminated the pregnancy for him. And all these girls, I mean, we tried to even say, go to school, and he has to pay, and she went to school and, managed to get into like some medical school, sort of a medical training, just so he would pay, because she wasn't really educated. She didn't have a diploma or a degree, that kind of thing. And you would want her to really have something to fall back on, even though there's the idea of setting up, the last time I had, there was this idea of setting up a trust fund for the baby, not for her. And then you're going to put in maybe like 10 million, 15 million there for the baby, just so over the years, until the baby turns 19 or 21, I think, then the money is going to keep appreciating, but the mother cannot use the money. The money is for the baby, to take her to school, to take care of her and everything, because she deserves it. If she's Bushiri's daughter, then he needs to take care of her like his other daughters. And that was our argument. Bushiri knows that I know this issue. He knows that I was a part of it. And he even told her, if you're talking to Solomon, then I'm not gonna pay you. I'm actually gonna stop paying you. I'm gonna stop supporting you and the baby if you're talking to Solomon. So and you see, sometimes we ask ourselves, does his wife know? Bushiri's wife, is she aware that he's doing all these things? Or like Bishop Zondo's wife, is she aware that she's doing all these things? Or Mboro's wife, is Mboro actually married? Actually never really crossed my mind if he's married or not. TB Joshua's wife, is he aware of the atrocities that is she aware of the atrocities that he's committing? They know. They know. Maybe they got tired of it. And sometimes they are collaborators. They know about his baby mamas and they try to tell, to tell them to shut up. Or if the baby mamas are beginning to threaten and make some noise, the wives would go around and try to threaten them. A lot of them are that way. A lot of them are that way. So I see somebody here is saying that I will burn in hell. So you've been to hell and you know how hell is, right? Yeah, I'm sure. Some people were saying, whoever has no sin, let it cast the first stone. You see, that's the problem with people. You read scriptures because you're comfortable with your sin and you want to continue living your sin every time. You don't want anybody to pinpoint your sin. Jesus pinpoints certain sins and people. Even the lady at the well, the one that was, Jesus told them, if you, without sin, cast the first stone. He pinpointed her sin and she accepted her sin. But the problem with a lot of people is you pinpoint their sin and they don't accept their sin. They think only God can pinpoint their sin. No, that's not the way it works. If not, we wouldn't have courts, we wouldn't have the police to tell us what is right legally. Hadassah said the way he pretend to love his wife. Yeah, it's all a facade. Let me tell you something. Do you know, even before, when Bushiri was arrested, allegedly I heard they were actually separated with his wife. They were not living under the same roof here in Johannesburg just before he was arrested. That's what I got from my sources. So forget about all this. Zondo will come with his wife holding her hand, or Bushiri will come talking about his wife. All that is a facade. They're in business. They just need to keep the business going. And the business is deceiving you guys just so you can put in money, just so you can think God is there and you'll be able to keep giving them the money. You'll be able to keep buying the oil and the water and whatever sort of items they have that you think is going to work for you. It's part of the program. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Do you know how many pastors have baby mamas? It will shock you. It will shock you to know some of the guys you see. And I'm not talking about baby mamas that they made a mistake when they were teenagers and before they met the Lord and all that. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about recent. It's a secret. They don't even want you to know. It will shock you. It will shock you. Right now, there was a trend, I think was it in Nigeria, where at one point, if a man of God, a prophet or an apostle is been invited to speak, at a church, and he goes to the church, part of the hospitality that they give him in his hotel room is, a girl. It's going to be a woman for him to have a nice time with. Outside of his honorarium and all that that's how Babylonian we've become. So some of you guys will be like, you don't believe this. And that's up to you. I'm not telling you to believe me. No, the last thing that I want you to believe me is, I want you to do is to believe me. I want you to question what you believe in. That's what I want you to do. And some of you are blind anyway. So I just pray that the Lord will open your eyes. Because these same guys will come and lay hands on you. You know what they're laying on you? Spirit of fornication, spirit of adultery, spirit of lust of the flesh. That spirit. and you begin to see certain things happening in your life. Just sitting in their presence and they speaking. Our breath, when you speak words, they are life. The Bible says in Proverbs, they are life, and they will go to you. And you're sitting every time in the presence of these guys. Some of you guys need to really evaluate the pastors the church that you go to and the pastors that are there, because they will mess you up. People like Prophet Banda and all that, they will mess you up. But because you're looking for something, you think they have prophecies or they have word of knowledge or they can deliver you from something, you don't even want to look at those areas that are the most important areas of one's life. The most important area of the life of a man of God is not his prophecy, is not his how he teaches, is not how he shares scriptures, is not how he prophesies. The most important part of his life is his character, his attitude, the fear of God. That's the most important part of it. But for you, it's not even important. And that's a problem. Because maybe your life is that way. You're okay living in sin. But the era of being okay living in sin is past. The people that want to see the mighty hand of God and the supernatural now in this era that we're about to go in are people that fear the Lord. Do you have the fear of God? Because that's where your deliverance, that's where your miracle, that's where the word from God is going to come from. Not from going and getting prophecies. The prophetic and all, that era that was abused. There's a place for the prophetic. I'm not throwing away the prophetic, But God is taking us back to a place of fear where we fear him. And that's why I'm sharing this tonight. Lessons for us, lessons for pastors, men of God, and lessons for women, especially young women who would go to some of these churches. Something is wrong with you if you think it's okay to be sleeping with married men, to be sleeping with married women as a man. Something is wrong with you. Something has gone wrong, and that would damage you. You are a broken person, and you need God to help you. And God is always there to help. But are you willing? Some of us want the help from God, but we're not willing. It's obvious that we're not willing to get help from God because you keep committing the same sin over and over again for years, not even trying to stop. For God to help you, he needs your cooperation. He needs your energy. He needs your focus. He needs your perseverance. He needs your faithfulness. He needs your patience. Very important. Anyway, I'm not going to begin to go and start teaching or whatever now, But I'm here to tell you that, today, that we have to go to a place of the fear of God. It's obvious that the fear of God is lacking in churches across our nation, across our continent, across the Black race. There's a lot of people who are in diaspora, Africans, some of them earlier on, we're mentioning where they are. If you're looking for a miracle, God is a God of miracle. But you need to walk in the fear of God first. If you're looking for success, God is the one that gives true success. But you need to walk in the fear of God first. If you're looking for a husband, if you're looking for a wife, if you're looking for a job, God is the provider of that all. But you need to walk in the fear of God first. If you walk in the fear of God, you will build yourself and you would build others. But if you walk outside the fear of God, you will destroy yourself and you will destroy others. And that's exactly what we see between Shepherd and his baby mamas. He has destroyed them. I don't care how beautiful they are, what sort of expensive clothes they have, what sort of car they drive. I don't care about his private jet. He is a broken man that doesn't even want to tolerate help from anybody. If anybody pinpoint my sin, I actually see them as helpers. I'm not going to tell them he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. No, Jesus was speaking to the hypocrites, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, because they have their secret sin and they're not stopping it, and now they're accusing a woman of doing the same thing that they do. That's what it meant. So go read the scriptures. It's time to get to the fear of God, people. If you don't get to the fear of God, I don't know how to emphasize that you are going to miss the next move of God if you don't walk in the fear of God. You're going to be left behind if you don't begin to walk in the fear of God. If you don't begin to reverence the Lord, you're not going to be a part of that remnant, a part of that end time army that God is raising. So anyway, I've taken an hour already, and I just wanted to get this out, just so you know that the atrocities created, the alleged atrocities created by Shepherd Bushiri is enormous and is destructive. But how do we rebuild? As a pastor, do you have baby mamas? Do you have mistresses, side chicks? It's not left for you to begin to reconsider. Even if you know a pastor that is having side chicks and baby mamas, have you been able to tell the pastor the truth? People that have you been able, your friends with side chicks and all, have you been able to look at them and say, look, hey, bro, that's not the way to go? Or you're saying, no, it's none of my business. Oh, well, I have my sins to take care of. Then you're a baby Christian. Then maybe you're not even a Christian, but you go to church. So it's time for us to reconsider our walk with God. It's time for us to say, what do we do? What do I need to do now? I brought you a few girls that I know. There are a lot of other girls that I know. Some of them don't even want to come out. Like some of the girls that he has raped or whatever, they don't even want to come out. And then there are obviously quite a few of them. So let's continue to seek for God. Seeking him means opening our hearts, because he's here with us. He's here. He's there where you are. He's there with you. But if you don't open your heart, he's not going to be able to come in. So I want to thank you. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I don't expect you again to agree with me. No. I'm not here to make you agree with me. Actually, the more you disagree with me, the better for me. If you find this offensive, I'm sorry. That's just the way that it is. But it's enough is enough. I've been on this crusade for over 10 years. And now, first it was Alf Lukau with the resurrection thing last year, and then now it's Bushiri. Now everybody is beginning to, lately I see a lot of pastors now talking. Some of them were not talking before. I know when I started this crusade, people abused me. Even pastors calling my wife to tell us to shut up, just keep quiet. I can't see sin and be quiet. Don't look at my sin and be quiet. If you see my sin, if you see me living in sin, walk to me. Say, Solomon, that is not biblical, Solomon. Solomon, you're bringing destruction on yourself and your family. That's brotherhood. That's family. That's how families should live. That's the fellowship. That's the ecclesia, the church, fellowshipping. That's how you fellowship. Not is none of my business. No, it doesn't work that way. So I want to thank you guys. Please, again, I would ask you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe right now or as soon as we're done. I promise you, I've been getting some sort of information. So I've been investigating. I have an audio that Mboro called me and he was very xenophobic and attacking me and all that, even attacking Bushiri also before he went back to Bushiri. So I do hope I'm going to be able to play that soon, like I had promised. And then there is, I got an audio about Überdanger from a very inside source. I think I'm going to play that audio at one point. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. His relationship with Bushiri, a lot of it is in there. Some of the atrocities he's been committing in London is all in there. So I have quite a bit of leads and stories that I normally just follow and then see get some sort of merit or not merit or no merit, and to know how to use it. And these baby mamas, Bushiri's baby mamas, do we love them? We love them very much, because we're supposed to love all men, all women, whether we agree or don't agree. That shouldn't measure the love that we have for people. You know, the way that I love a gay person should be the same way that I love somebody who is straight, faithful, not a fornicator. That's the way God loves us. But then they've made choices with their life that I may disagree with. That obviously is going to lead to destruction or is going to lead to life. And we can disagree with that. And I will tell you, biblically speaking, I do not agree with this type of sexual lifestyle. But I'm not going to hate you. I'm still going to love you. Because love gives sinners the opportunity to come to Jesus. Do we love Bushiri? Yeah. To be honest with you, I regularly pray for Bushiri in my house. TB Joshua, all these guys, Alf Lukau, I regularly pray for them. I pray for them. I don't hate them. You have to understand my heart. I don't do, like, hate is a waste of energy. Hate is hard work. That's why Jesus doesn't want us to do that, because it is destructive to you and is destructive to the other person. So yeah, we love them. If they get in touch with me, I will speak to them. Obviously, there are other names that was given to me, his baby mamas, Bushiri's, but I'm still trying to confirm some of the names, and some of them are there also, you know. But I want to thank you guys again. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please share this video, tag somebody, engage, agree, disagree, but do not disrespect anybody on this platform. If I see anybody disrespecting anyone or abusing anyone based on race, based on gender, based on whatever you disagree on, I'm gonna block you. That's what I do. So disagree, but do not be disrespectful. Do not abuse anybody. If you disagree with them, tell them I disagree with you. Solomon, I disagree with you. It's fine. It's not a fight. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Today is Wednesday, and I do hope that you're gonna have a wonderful rest of the week for yourself. And also, you know, for those who are gonna be watching this later on YouTube and wherever, you know, I do hope that you're gonna find some sort of important something to learn from this video. And I hope that, you know, each one of you, whether you agree or disagree, and at least there's something out there that I've said that would, you know, help you to begin to think or give you some sort of perspective. Well, thank you guys. I love you. And keep fighting, keep being soldiers, because that is who we are and that is what we're called to do. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening.